Good morning, dear Stitchers. It's Judy with JBW Designs, and I am here with Flosstube number 50, which is kind of amazing, isn't it? I don't think I ever would have believed that I'd gotten this far when I started, but you are making it all worthwhile. I can't thank you enough for the number of people who are watching, who are commenting, who are writing letters. This is the kindest group that I think I've ever been a part of. So thank you so much. It is December 2nd. Hard to believe, isn't it? It feels like what happened in November. So I have lots of things to talk to you about today. As you can see, I've decorated for Christmas, and I like to address questions that came up from the last video, show you some inspiration that we've gotten from fellow Stitchers, and show you some more of my Christmas designs. So welcome and thank you. Let's see, between floss tubes, it's kind of funny. I usually watch, of course, the floss tube after I finish it to see what mistakes have I made, but I also start making lists of things that I want to talk to you about in the next video, which is really kind of fun. It makes planning the next video easier because I just go to this pile of assorted notes that I've made to myself, and I start from there when I start planning the next one. So in today's video, I want to tell you first about some happy mail that I've gotten, and then we'll address some questions, etc. So one of the letters that I got, and I forgot to mention this in the last video, and I'll talk to you about it when I tell you about this note, was from Nancy Bates. And Nancy is the mother of Laura Duet, who is part of Brenda and the Cereal Starter. And I forgot to mention in the last video that Laura had shown 5 or 6 ornaments that her mother had stitched, Nancy had stitched, and had finished, and they were just beautiful. So I'm so sorry that I forgot to mention that. But in the meantime, then Nancy writes this lovely note to thank me for some books that I sent to her as a thank you for doing the ornaments. And it was just so sweet. She talks about how she's finished 14 of my designs and has 20 more to work on. So Nancy, you are very ambitious, and I thank you so much for taking the time to write such a sweet note. And then I got a lovely note and gift from Marie, and I love the sentiment. It says, "A kind heart always does a little bit extra." And she too wrote just a sweet, sweet note about if I see all the exclamation points in her comments, I'll know that it's her. So it was so nice of you to do that, Marie. And then she sent me this beautiful ornament to hang on my tree, and it says, "Follow your heart." And that's definitely what we all need to do, especially these days when we're so busy and swamped with things to do. And I have something to read to you at the end of the video that may help you kind of get perspective. It certainly helped me when I read it. So the other thing that I received, and I'm going to give these, whoops, sorry, crash, bam, I'm dropping things already, is that Teresa with Jersey Girl Stitch Company, along with her daughter, sent me more of her beautiful pins to give away. So I'm definitely going to give those away at the end, and I've chosen my winners from the random number generator that chooses names from people who have made comments in the last video. Then I want to show you I'm very high tech. I've never learned how to do editing, so I think you're putting up with me, and it works, I think. So I have gotten some of the most wonderful pictures on my Friends of JBW Designs Facebook page. People also send me emails, and this happened to come in an email, and I've reposted it. I'm not sure I've done it on Instagram yet, but look at this. These ornaments were done by ML. And I'm going to just hold that up so you can see it. And I complimented her on her finishing because I just thought They were exquisite. And she wrote back and she said, well, I learned from you. And I thought, oh, good. I love it, being a teacher, having my students do so well. This is so exciting. And the interesting thing is I've always talked about when I do my ornaments, I used to put them up on the window and trace them to get a shape, to get the template for the finishing. But now I've started making copies on my printer. I just lay the ornament on the printer, make a copy, and use that as a template. But ML said she's gone back to the window. She likes that method. It obviously works for her. One of the most original designs that I think she did was the angel. I love how she got such a beautiful shape to the whole design and then finished it with the chenille trim, which incidentally is probably from Lady Dot Creates. And I want to make sure I mention Lady Dot, Lois, today, because I just placed an order for more trims from her. And I will, anything that I'm talking about that you may need to refer to again later after I finish the video, I will make sure I put this information in the notes below. So I will put in the Lady Dot's website because she has beautiful rickrack and chenille and pom-pom trims and velvets, etc. So just a little side note about the finishing. And then this was a second picture that arrived. I'll tell you what, people are so industrious these days. And this, did I write her name on it? I don't know that I did. This, I believe, was Kathy. And Kathy, if I've forgotten, I am so sorry. But she finished 10 little sleds, and these are all going to her co-workers. And I thought that was just fabulous. I mean, think of all the time that she spent not only stitching, painting the sleds, but doing all the finishing. So I loved seeing that picture. And then I had another sled picture from Paulette, and she finished these darling little sleds using my Santa and Snowman, and she did these for her grandchildren. So thank you, Paulette, for sending that. And then the last one that I have to show you, I thought was so clever. And I think this was from, I thought I wrote notes to myself, but my notes seem to be missing in action. These were ornaments, and I'm pretty sure it's Teresa. And she mounted these, and I'll show you samples because I had to rush to the store to get them, in ornaments that come from Michaels. And in her picture, which for some reason I didn't locate the picture of all of the things that she finished. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if it was on Instagram or maybe on my friend's page. Anyhow, I want to show you these ornaments because they're just great. So as soon as I have bought these before, but as soon as she mentioned and showed these pictures of her finished ornaments, of course I had to run to Michael's website and I ended up ordering them. And they've got, oh gosh, probably 20, at least 20 different designs. And they're perfect for finishing. Each one of these has a little 2022 tag on it. And sometimes, incidentally, I think they were only like $3 a piece. So it was, I thought, quite a bargain for finishing. All of the designs that she stitched using these ornaments, she would have had to stitch over one on a 28 to get them in, to fit into here, into this little tiny ornament. But I'll show you the 5 that I bought just recently. Sometimes I use these to put pictures in. One of our traditions in our family is every grandchild has their picture hanging on the Christmas tree. And so it's always a big deal to find your picture among the ornaments and make sure that you hang it in just the right spot, which we did last weekend. So here's one of the ornaments from Michael's. And then I also had the little Christmas tree, or the square one. Here's one which was shaped like an ornament itself. I love that shape. It would be perfect for so many of the smalls that I've shown to you. Here's another one that I bought that I love that is just holly with a bow. I'll try to talk loudly. but you know me, I have trouble talking at a higher volume. I know some have trouble with my voice, and this is the last one that I bought, which I love just the small, simple design of that. So that's an idea for your finishing. And it might not happen this year, it might be next year, but I love getting those ideas and I love sharing them with you. So the next thing I want to address is that in the last video, I was talking about, and I forgot to pull this out, I'm sorry, making cording using metallic fibers. And one of our viewers kindly corrected me because I was giving the wrong numbers for the Kreinik metallics and the weight. And I know what I did. The numbers that I was giving were the pearl cotton numbers. And so to correct it, I just want to tell you quickly that the metallics from Kreinik come in 4, 8, 12, 16, and 32. And the 4 is actually the finest weight, and the 32 is the heavier braid. And I think the braid that I showed to you in the last video was number 8, which has a nice weight to it and I thought would work well for twisted cording. I don't think I have an example of the cording. It's the cording that I talked about in the past that you can make with one color, 2 colors, or add metallics. So that was one of the things that I wanted to address. And then I also showed you, do I have it up here? I'm twisting and turning, trying to see where I put it. So my little joy sign back there, which I bought at Hobby Lobby and mounted my Christmas in the round, I gave the wrong product number in my last video. So I will make sure to correct that in the notes today. And then another gal asked the most interesting question, and I thought, oh gosh, this is a great question to address because others might be interested in it. So she asked about the initials that appear on one of my chairs in my office here. And she wanted to know where I got the chart. Actually, I bought that piece of fabric from, I don't even remember which source. Sometimes I look for French linens on antique sites, and so that was a linen from France, and it happened to have my first 2 initials on it, which I thought was perfect, and so I had it upholstered on the back of this chair. So I thought, all right, I need to help her. And I'm sorry, I forgot to look up your name to make sure that I acknowledged your question. So what I did is I went through, as you know, I've got quite a library of books that I use for reference, and a lot of them are alphabet books. All 3 of these that I'm going to show you, which I'll list below, are from France. And they have large alphabets in them. So the first one I found for you today, I'm not going to pronounce it. If you know from the past that my pronunciation of French is really kind of spine-tingling awful. So I won't pronounce the name of the book, but I will write it in the notes. So this alphabet that I found, I thought was fabulous. Look at that. And it wouldn't take that long to monogram a pillow or a bolster or something like that with a large monogram. So this monogram is actually 110 threads wide, 110 threads high. And I thought that would make a beautiful piece if you're looking for something like that for one of your rooms in your house. So this is the second book that I found that had interesting alphabets in it. And I think, I was going to say, yes, they're all by the same author, who is, I'm not going to pronounce it. I'm trying, but I'm so scared of saying it. Veronique? Oh, I didn't do it right at all. I'll write it down for you. I hope you're getting a chuckle out of my terrible French. So this is another one that I found. It's not quite as high, but it also has a very interesting look to it. And in these books, there are alphabets that are not only very large, but as you can see, all let's see if I can find some more. All different sizes. So they're a great resource. I didn't go online to look to see where you can get them, but hopefully you're able to find them. And then this is the third book by the same author. I'll put that up close. And this one is an interesting one because it's a little different than the other two. It actually has a lot of monograms in it. And it would take a while to kind of figure this out because she actually shows like the base of a monogram. In this case, it's an M, and then she layers letters over that. So you'd really have to kind of figure out how to chart using these as a source, but I think it could be done. So those are the three books that I thought I'd share with you today in case you're interested in something like that. Let's see. So the next topic for today is going to be my contest that I have on my Friends of JBW Design Facebook page. And I post this every few weeks whenever I have a minute to do it and to pull out the models and to photograph them. I post 3 models. I ask you to tell me which is your favorite. It really doesn't matter, but I love reading your comments because everyone is quite passionate about it. So this week's theme was Santas. So I'm going to pull this screen just a little bit this way so I can show you the 3 designs that I featured in the contest this week. So I featured a design that I've shown before, but I haven't shown this model before. So this is French Country Santa, which incidentally Laura of the Serial Starter stitched herself not that long ago and showed on their last video. And this is over 2, and it's worked on a 32 count linen. I just finished it in a little different manner. I finished it as a little bag, and I did a little hem stitching across the top, which I'm not great at, but actually it was kind of fun to look up how to do it and then to tackle it. And I just love that little finish. I just think it's darling. It would look cute on a couch, in a chair, etc. So that was one of the designs. And that booklet, let me not forget to show you, that booklet, French Country Santa, looks like this. The one on the front is worked over 1. And then I'm pretty sure, yes. So inside of the book, I show you this model. So that was one of the Santa designs featured. Then a second design with a Santa in it. And incidentally, it was very interesting to look through my models. I haven't done that many Santas. I probably should try to do more because they're so much fun to design. This one comes from the Sing a Song series, and this was Sing a Song 2, and it's called Here Comes Santa Claus. I may have shown you this before, but because it was in the contest, I thought I'd pull it out again. And that booklet looks like this. And the Sing a Song series, I'll talk to you a little bit more about later because I saw a Flosstuber feature them today on her channel, so that was kind of fun. And then the third design in the Santa series, see if I can get this without knocking things over, is an older design called Santa's Sleigh Ride. And this is finished in a frame from Classic Colorworks, which has their own frame, division. And I'll set that back here. I'm going to knock things over. I can feel it. Yes, there we go. I did it without knocking anything over. And this is the book that design comes from. And it too was stitched on a 32, oh no, I take that back. It was stitched on a 28 count antique white opalescent. And the finished size is 8 inches wide by about 3.5 inches high. So that is the third in the 3 Santa designs that are on my Friends page. And to join that Friends page, you just have to ask to join. Everybody gets in, and that allows you to be a member and to vote. And the beauty about being part of that page is that you get to see all these amazing finishes that other people have done using my designs. And I love, love, love what you share with me that you've done. I love what you've inspiration you have to change things, change colors, change fabrics, I'm just fine with that. So today my main topic for this video, which is taking me a while to get to, is more inspiration for stitching Christmas. And I've pulled out, once again, a number of designs to share with you. So I'm going to start with, this, oops, a lot of oopses here, with the designs from another one of my Ornament Collection booklets. And as I've been showing you the last few weeks, it's been kind of fun to show you inspiration for Christmas, even though you're probably so harried right now you can't even think about starting anything new. But put this on your idea list for next year. So I have 4 different spiral bound ornament booklets, and each booklet has 20 designs in it. And a lot of these are taken from some of my older booklets, and some of them are brand new. And so I'm going to show you 5 of the designs from the Ornament Collection, and that is what ML showed when she showed us her ornaments earlier. All of these were taken from one of the Ornament Collection booklets. I didn't sort them all out for you, but so anyhow, today I'm going to show you 5 that come from Ornament Collection IV. So this one is has a very Williamsburg feel to me because it's a little basket of fruit. The interesting thing is I'm working on designing a new sampler, and I was looking through one of my source books the other day, and it was I think it's called Pennsylvania German Sampler Book, something like that. And this kind of motif was used in many antique samplers in all kinds of variations. Sometimes the basket is a different shape and it's taller. It was just kind of fun to look at that and to think how often this design has been used in older samplers. And to finish this, I mounted it in 3 parts actually. So I mounted the design on linen. I use comic board. You can go back to my earlier videos to see how I do my finishing. And then I mounted 2 pieces of board with the fabric, one for the backing, one for the design to be mounted on. And then I just did a little bit of cording around the edges and finished it with a little organdy ribbon across the top. So that's one of the designs in book number 4. This is actually a new design that I designed especially for that book. It features little doves. It could be actually used as a wedding or a shower gift. The models that I'm showing you have all been stitched on 28 count over 1 using 1 ply of floss. If that is not your cup of tea, I understand. For a lot of people, that's very, very scary thought. I think once you tried it, you might be surprised that they go pretty quickly. But if you're not comfortable with that, choose the fabric that you love and stitch the design on the fabric that you're comfortable with. That's what I want you to have success. I don't want you to be frustrated. And then a 3rd design that was in that booklet, I think I used this for a class, a round robin class at Needlework Galleria. It's just a little heart with a bow and flowers in it. And finished the same way that the front was mounted on a piece of comic board. I use a little felt or batting. Then I do the lining on the back. This was finished with cording, and I used the cording to make the hanger. Another one that is in that booklet, which was, let's see, it's kind of coming apart here. Let me see if I can put it back together. Is a little heart, and this was an interesting design because this was in a booklet that I did years and years ago. It's long out of print, and it was all done in golds. I think I've shown you this before, but it's fun to show you again. And so I decided to just change it up a bit. Instead of doing golds, I did all of the little stars, which is, I don't know, that's kind of fuzzy there, in shades of green. And then just used a little red to look like holly. And that again was finished with the twisted cording. And then the last one, the fifth one I have to show you from the Ornament Collection IV book, is just a little scene. And it's a little scene with a window and a wreath on the window and a rug and toys on the rug. So as I say, that is in this booklet, and let's see, what did I call it? Let's see if I can find it here. I called it Christmas Toys. That was the name of the last ornament that I just showed to you. So let's move on and show you some other things from Christmas. As you know, I love doing series. And in last week's video, I hope you have stitching because it's going to take me a while to finish here. I showed the 'Twas the Night series, which was a series of 4 different booklets. You can stitch them separately as ornaments, or you can stitch them as a whole design. And I told my viewers last week, in case you're new, that if you wanted to do the design as one piece, you can write to me, judy@jbwdesigns.com, and I can send you the PDF file for the layout of the 'Twas the Night. So I did another series, and I tried to decorate. I have done no decorating in our house, except the kids, everybody was over on Saturday. We went to cut down a tree. So the tree is up. That's the only thing that looks great. This weekend, I'm hoping to get to more decorating. So I took one of my little trays. I love these little cardboard houses, so I often use those for decorating. And that's what I did today. So let me show you this series. And I'm going to show you another way to display them. So this is the 12 Days of Christmas series, which is an interesting kind of project for me because it had been on my to-do list for so long. And sometimes it takes me a while to kind of get started on something. I have to be inspired before I start. And so suddenly I thought I can do this. And so there, as I mentioned before, this is a series. Each individual ornament is one of the designs from the 12 days. They were finished as a disc with just a pretty backing on it. And they were so much fun to design once I got started. And what I realized is I had to give them some cohesiveness. So each design has a border that looks like holly. And then the phrase is worked with 1 ply of floss, with back stitching. Everything else is cross stitch. These are worked on, let me double check to make sure I give you the right information, on a 32 count, here's book number 1, 32 count Belfast linen in antique white. And the finished size of these is about 3 inches round. So here's number 1, the partridge. Let's see, here's number 2, the turtle doves. And here's number 3, the French hens. And I have an interesting story to tell you about the finishing on these. So years ago, I had a finisher who did the most amazing work. I would love to work with her again. I don't know what happened, actually. I think she retired, and I don't know if there were health reasons or what. So she was very good. I would send her the models. She would send me a prototype of what it was going to look like. And there was only one time in all the finishing that she did that when I got the finishes back, I just wasn't happy with them. And I can't tell you why. It was my own fault because I had approved them. But when they came back, sometimes you know from looking at something if it's right or not. And those just weren't right. And it was very close to publication date. So I ended up taking them all apart and remounting them. So I actually finished these. I set up a huge finishing station and covered the discs on the back and the fronts and made the cording and added the bow and the little pin at the bottom. But I'm very happy with how they came out, and I want to show you after I finish all of these one way to display them if you're interested. So the second book in that series, I'm kind of jabbering on today, aren't I, is the next one, which is the next 3 in the series. So this is 12 Days of Christmas Book 2. Same fabric, same size, same border. And this one has 4 calling birds. It has 5 golden rings. And it also has 6 geese a-laying. These books, actually, I'm almost out of print on several of them. So they are at the printer actually right now. Where am I putting all of my stuff? Being reprinted. The next in that series, the next 3, so this would be 12 Days of Christmas Book 3. And the designs in that series are the 7 Swans a Swimming. Here's 8 Maids a Milking. We don't see the maids, just the cow. And then the last one of that series is 9 Ladies Dancing. And once I got going on these, I loved doing them. It was just so much fun. So again, here's the booklet for number 3 in the series. And then the last 3 in that booklet. All right. I want to put these back in some sense of order. Otherwise, it makes a mess for me when I'm cleaning up. So the last 3 in the series are the book number 4. This is what this one looks like. And I have 10 Lords Leaping, 11 Pipers Piping, and then the last one is 12 Drummers Drumming. And I used little beads in the background of that one just to give it some a little more interest. So those are the 4 booklets that contain the 12 Days of Christmas. So I'm going to set this out of the way, and what I want to show you, I have to move my desk here a little bit, is that when I put these on display at my shows that I go to, I usually hang them like this on a window. And if you can see here, there are little tiny plastic hooks that just adhere to the window. And so each design, let me set that down. And I bought the window a couple years ago at Hobby Lobby. I don't know if you could search for them now to find another window. So each ornament just hangs on one of the hooks. And there are 4 across the top, 4 here, 4 at the bottom. And then the other thing I did was I added the greenery and the ribbon and the ornament and the bells to the top. And then this can hang on a wall. I just put a hanger across the back of it. So that's another idea for finishing, and you wouldn't have to use it for the 12 Days of Christmas. You could actually use it with my 'Twas the Night series, which are also 12 ornaments. You could use it with my Christmas Village series, which are 12 ornaments, which I haven't shown to you in a while, but maybe in the next video we'll see. So that is 12 Days of Christmas. Then I have, let me clean up here a little bit. You know that I'm making many messes. So then I did something else here, and this is going to require some careful lifting. So I want you to say a prayer as I'm lifting and turning, because I wanted to set it up as a little tiered tray. Let's see if I turn it this way so you can see it. So the designs that I'm going to show you now are from my Christmas Smalls booklet. And this was done a couple years ago. I just had this inspiration to do small designs. They're actually, let's see if I can show you. Aha. All right. So there's one pictured on the cover, 2 actually pictured on the cover, the little scissors case and the scissor fob. Say that quickly. And then on the back, I have 3 other of the smalls. So I did a little needle case, I did a pin keep, and I did a strawberry. And I just love these little pieces. First of all, they look great in a small tray. This is what the booklet looks like. They also were stitched on a 32 count Belfast linen, except for the scissor fob, which was stitched over one on a 28 count. So let me show you each of the designs in this series. Are they all here? I feel like I lost one along the way. Nope, it's something else that dropped. All right, so this is one of the designs in the Christmas Smalls series. This is a little needle case, and I love the construction of this because I think it's so unique. Actually, one of my finishers did something like this for me, which is where I got the idea of how to do it. So it's really just 2 discs, and you're going to need, of course, a front and a back for this one, and just a little piece of wool on the inside of this one. The ribbon that you see here is running through the middle of these discs, which allows you to tie it together at the end. And then the front is put together with the fabric being brought instead of to the back of the mounting board that you're using, whether it's comic board or mat board. And it is kind of pinched along the edges so that you pleat the edges. And then your stitching is mounted on top of that with just a little twisted cording around the edges. So I love how that one turned out. And then here is the little scissors case, and that is just a board. So on the back of the board, you're putting a little bit of fabric to add for your scissors to go into. And then on the front is just a little Christmas tree design. And this is, I'm fumbling here. This is the little scissor fob, and it's just a tiny little wreath. So these would make great gifts, not this year, maybe next year. So another thing that I did, and maybe these are finishing ideas that you can use with other designs that you have or want to do or want to finish. I love making these. They're just little pin keeps. And when I make these, again, it's the same method as I use for the ornaments. I'm covering the back, and I've put quite a bit of batting in there. And then I'm mounting my front design, and then I'm hand stitching, excuse me, 1 second here. I start to lose my voice. I'm hand stitching those 2 pieces together, and then I'm just sticking the pins in between those 2 layers. And I just think it makes such a cute finish. So the pin keep is the 4th piece, and then the last one that I did was a strawberry. And I followed Vanna Pfeiffer with the Twisted Stitcher, her directions on how to make a strawberry. They were outstanding. I was really quite intimidated by it at first, but if you follow her instructions, they're perfect. And I was able to make my own. And I was somehow very proud of finishing that all by myself. I sound like a 5-year-old. So those are the 5 designs that appear in Christmas Smalls. So I'm going to set my little tiered tray. Sorry about this. Moving it off to the side to make room to show you a couple more things. So one of the things that I want to show you, I just have a few more, is that I've been talking about a new design called O'er the Fields We Go. And I have a couple. I showed you last time, excuse me, 2 different models. One was stitched in blue, a pale blue on white, and it looked very wintry. I showed you a model with white on red, and I talked to you about this model, and I didn't have it nearby to share it with you. So this was the first model I stitched, and where is the book for that? Oh, aha, on the floor. Good place, right? So this is O'er the Fields We Go. I want to make sure, this was stitched on a cream 36 count Edinburgh linen. I actually bought this, it was just a frame a design, a hand-painted design at Hobby Lobby. What I liked about it was that it was almost like a box, you can see from the back. So I just painted over the whole piece, and then I used a piece of fabric that I thought coordinated well with the colors in the design. So I did one mount here, a second mount here, and then the rickrack to set it off. And I was very happy with how that turned out. So the thing that I want to tell you about the O're the Fields design is that it is now a stitch along. Let me set this down. And it is a stitch along with Annie of the Proper Stitcher and another gal who I've just found called Merritt Crawford. And she has her own floss tube also. And so they have started this stitch along. I think they started it on December 1st, yesterday. And I was so delighted to hear that they're starting it. I can't wait to see what everyone chooses for colors, fabric, excuse me, etc. So let's see if I can show you real quickly. Well, kind of. Here's the blue design, and as you can see on the cover is the white on red design. So I just have a few more pieces to show you, and then we'll be on our way. So today I happened to be watching this morning. Sorry, hold on, as Laura would say. My voice is going, excuse me. So I was watching Snug Harbor Crafts, which I mentioned last time, and I had not done their complete floss tube name. And it's a mother and daughter. Debbie is the mom, and Keph, K-E-P-H, is the daughter. And they are just, if you want some good laughs, they offer all kinds of great laughs. They're very enthusiastic. They're very funny. And so Debbie was the one who had stitched my 'Twas the Night, which I talked about last week. Well, today she was in the middle of stitching some of my sing-a-song ornaments. And I thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to show a few more of these because there are 15 in the series. So I don't know if I've shown you these before, but here's number 3, which Frosty the Snowman. Now it's very interesting. The first 3 that I did, maybe the first 6 actually, I stitched on a color latte, which is a very pale cream linen. Let me hold that up for you. And the last ones that I've done have all been on an antique white. So I just choose whatever appeals to you. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to point that out. They were saying they thought they liked the white better than the cream background. But you know what? I just want you to choose what you love. So that's another one of the Sing-a-Song. Sing-a-Song 5 is Hark the Herald Angels Sing. And this is what that model looks like. And then the last one I'm going to show you today is I'll Be Home for Christmas. And again, this was stitched actually on an antique white, 32 count, 2-ply floss over 2. Now the interesting thing that Debbie said today is she is working hers in 1-ply. She felt like the 2-ply was too thick. And I'm kind of going that way lately myself. I've been stitching things on 32 count using 1-ply and feeling like I like the way it looks. So it's just a personal taste. So that's the 3rd one in that series, and that one is Sing-a-Song 14. So I'm all done with my Christmas sharing today. I have prizes. I have something to read to you that I read yesterday that I said I thought was so inspirational. My prize winners, I am going to give away the beaded pins that I showed you from Jersey Girl Stitch Company, and whoever so I'm going to read 5 names, and you may choose what you want, if you want pins or if you want one of the designs that I shared with you today. Just let me know what you want. Be sure to email me. That's better than messaging. And be sure to send your address so I can send it out. And so the names for today are Sherry Clifton, Terry Rupple, R-U-P-P-L-E, Debbie Guest, Neil Stephen, and Linda Skinner. So congratulations. I'm so excited to have my 50th Flosstube underway, and I can't thank all of you enough because it just seemed like last time I had so many viewers and people commenting, and I was just thrilled. So I was at 3,500. Now I'm jumping up towards 4,000. Who knew? So this weekend I hope to start decorating. But I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I have a lot of deadlines for my business that need to be met. I keep thinking about all the things that need to be done for Christmas. And I read this yesterday from a blog that I follow. And the name of the blog is Miss Mustard Seed. And she's primarily decorating crafts. She is not a cross-stitcher. It doesn't matter. I like her aesthetic for decorating, and so that's why I follow her. I think she's just a very interesting person to read, and she's posted some wonderful Christmas crafts lately, so you might like seeing some of those. And so she wrote about the fact that she had just, and her family had just moved into a house a couple months ago, and she's feeling very overwhelmed. And she said, I don't know what this season feels like for you. Maybe you are in your stride and all of the decorating and gifting feels easy and is springing out of an abundance of excitement. I want to know who this is. I hope it's one of you. Or maybe you're sapped, drained, and overwhelmed, and you're just doing the best you can, whatever that looks like. If you're at one end of the spectrum, the other, or somewhere in between, I hope you give yourself heaps of grace. Just pile it on, spread it on thick, wrap up in it and wear it. Enjoy the moments you enjoy. Be thankful when the energy surges, even if only for a minute. Celebrate whatever you can accomplish. And I just thought this is so on target because you're probably feeling like I am. There aren't enough hours in the day. So I want you to relax, give yourself some grace, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. You have so many choices, and I'm so appreciative. So until next time, I hope I can do one more before Christmas. We'll see how it goes. Thank you. Bye.